and knowledge of procedures, tools, and equipment, often necessary to improvise due to unique situations of limited equipment, and protection is of the property from weather and trespassers is critical. So that's going to be board up stuff at the end. Salvage. So overhaul, by definition, has to take place after the main body of fire is knocked down. Salvage does not. I had a buddy who worked in a very rich community of Birmingham as a firefighter, and they always had a salvage cover in a roll. So it just kind of rolled up like a Tootsie Roll. And they went inside of anyone's home, they would take that roll and just kind of throw it down the hallway. And so all of their footsteps would go on this roll to avoid, to at least give the homeowner appearance that they care about the property. And then if there is a 90-degree turn, then you just turn that salvage roll 90 degrees once it hits the wall, and then you send it down the other way, or 90 degrees, and then send it the other direction. And it does a little bit to help, at least some. So salvage can happen at any time during a fire. Overhaul has to happen later. So this is one of the things, again, when I worked for Inkster Fire, there were 4 of us on duty every single day, and only 4. So did we ever get a chance to do salvage work? Absolutely not. There was an incident commander, there was the engineer, and there were 2 of us firefighters, and that was it. In Farmington Hills, if we had a house fire, that was a 3-station response, and each station had a maximum of 20 people. But not everybody showed up to every call. Some people were working. But if a fire ever came in, a call came in for a house fire, everybody that could made it to that call. So there would be times where you would have 35 people at a house fire, 35 firefighters. So yes, we could start some salvage work at that point. All right, so purpose of property conservation, do everything to protect the property without compromising life and health. Fire, smoke, and suppression activities contribute to property damage, and practice good loss control techniques throughout the incident. So again, just maintain that I don't want to cause excess damage here. I want to do exactly what I have to, put the fire out, make sure anything doesn't restart. But I'm not just going to haphazardly run through homes and bash through walls and ceilings and things like that. So salvage equipment, your salvage covers, which we've got in which compartment? Okay, the driver's side rear compartment. On the lower side, we have salvage covers. Electrical tools. So again, I don't have any corded or battery operated tools on my truck, but the engines do. Mechanical tools, rotary saws, and those kinds of things. Plumbing tools. All right, so again, we don't do the board up, so I don't need that. Carpentry tools, we don't do the board up, I don't need that. Mop, squeegees, and buckets, we don't do the board up, so I don't need that. Salvage covers. So on the left, canvas, very old school. You will not see many canvas salvage covers anymore. On the right, vinyl, plastic. That is what you're going to be seeing these days. The canvas, do they talk about these? No, they don't. All right, so canvas. It is heavy. If you get it wet, it is like a jacket, so it's going to absorb that, so it takes a long time for it to dry. It is subject to mold, mildew, rot, all of those things, and they're just a pain in the butt. If you got a hole in them, you would have to cut it out, cut out another piece of material. It would have to be sewn in place to cover that material. So very difficult. They're very heavy. They're very temperamental in terms of they have to be 100% completely dry and all that kind of stuff. Subject to mold and mildew and rot and all those things, and then very difficult to maintain. Now, the vinyl one, that one, you can have 2 firefighters, one grab one side, one grab the other side, hold it up to the sky, and you can look. If there's any holes in it, then that can be covered. Use duct tape, okay? You can even get duct tape, and you know this, in any color you want. So in this case, get a yellow duct tape and put duct tape over any holes that might be there. These dry much quicker. It's a vinyl. it's a plastic. So if you take up that and you put it up and you hang it over the hose, the hard suction hose on your engine, it's going to be dry within an hour, whereas the canvas ones would be within a day or two. So, and if the vinyl one gets too ripped up or shredded or too many holes, easily replaced because they are far cheaper than the canvas ones. So canvas, old school vinyl, that's pretty much what you're going to deal with. All right, sprinkler kits. So different ways to stop the flow of water from a sprinkler head. And then these are those sprinkler tongs that we talked about. And then, but we've got the wooden blocks, the wedges that we use. And then we've got that one tool with the little spigot on the end that separates, the two ends go apart, and the little rubber stopper goes in and stops the flow of water from the orifice from a sprinkler head. So that is something we'll do once the weather gets nicer. We'll get a little better work handle on how those things all work. So we're ready in case that happens. Because really when the sprinkler gets stopped, the main body of the fire is knocked down and all of that kind of stuff. So we're kind of at our break period. And now it's like, okay, so at this point, let's just stop the flow of water from that sprinkler head. So we always look to the youngest, newest person, and they're going to be the ones who do it. The rest of us, we're all just going to sit around and watch. Okay, so it's never good. You never look great doing it because the water is going to flow from the sprinkler head and it's going to get down your coat and it's going to get down your shirt and pants and all those things. But how quickly you can do it and efficiently you can do it, that's going to be an impressive thing if you can get that stopped completely very quickly with minimum disruption. And how do you get to that point? And the answer, of course, is training. So we're going to practice that. The AHJ determines the responsibility for restoring automatic sprinkler systems to service. You may only restore systems if you're authorized and trained to do so. So again, board up company gets involved here, and the sprinkler company, the contractor, the person who has your contract to keep your sprinkler system up and going, and they do periodic tests and inspections, they're the ones who are going to put the system back in service. So typically what we do, again, most times it's one sprinkler head. So we will stop the flow of water from one sprinkler head with the wooden wedges or with the tongs or with that other device, I don't remember the name of it, that we have on our engine. We're going to stop the flow of water and we're going to leave that there because the rest of the sprinkler system is still fully operational. Another sprinkler head gets hot enough from a fire and it will then have water flow out through it. So we don't want to shut the whole system off because the rest of the building is left without a sprinkler system. So plan A is to just leave those sprinklers completely wedged and stopped, and the sprinkler company will put it back into service. That's their job. To stop the flow of water, drain the water from the system, replace the sprinkler head with a sprinkler head of the exact same temperature and all that type of stuff, style, all of that, and then recharge the system back up, inspect, test to make sure that it's going to hold water, and then boom, it's good to go. All right, so carry all. So they're not using that canvas piece, they're using a bucket, and they're just putting stuff in the bucket, and then they're carrying it outside and loading up somewhere outside. But again, the actual carry all is a like a tarp that has handles on it. Floor runner. So this is that. Usually these are 3 feet wide-ish, and usually we don't fold these. Usually we roll these. So you can, just like a roll of hose, you can stand here and you can kind of unroll it, and it goes all the way down the hall. And again, if you hit a mark where the hall ends and then it goes down into a different direction or into a room, then you can just go ahead and fold that over 90 degrees and roll it the rest of the way into that room. So it saves on some footprints, but your community is going to love you for it if you have time. If you don't have time, you don't do this. But if part of your standard procedure on going into a house fire is one firefighter has that in their hand, then yeah, go ahead and throw it out. Okay, so here's one you'll probably never do here in Livingston County: dewatering devices or water vacuums. So these are pumps that will sit down low and suck the water from a basement or floor, and it will send it out this tube to maybe outside the structure, outside of a window or door. And this is a wet dry shop vac, or this one's a backpack type one, but it's going to suck the water up from the floor, put it in that container on his back, and then he can go outside and open up the petcock on that, and then bloop, 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 all of that stuff drips down, and then he's empty again, and then he can go back to sucking up the water again. Again, this is board up company stuff. This is typically not us. I mean, would we do it if we had it? Yes, but look at the size of these things. They take up space on our apparatus. I don't have any space I want to give up to put these things on there. I just have no room for them. So these, I've never known a department that has these on their apparatus. All right. And then we get into the folds and the spreads and all of those types of things. These we're going to practice on some practical days. So at this point, let me go here and here and here. All right, so now it should be back to me on this one. All right, so we've covered about half of this chapter, why we do salvage, overhaul, the difference, what they are, what we're looking for, etc. And then the rest, we're going to quickly show you what it is we do with those salvage covers and how to do it, and then we're going to go out and practice those. So I'll save that till we get back. We're at 9:44 right now. Questions over anything that we covered today? No? All right. I had on my blue t-shirt this morning, and normally my wife is sleeping when I leave in the morning, but today, she goes, "Why are you wearing your blue today?" I said, "Because it was on top of my pile." And she goes, "No, wear red, because today is something, I think it's Heart Awareness Month or something like that, so do something healthy for your heart. Today is Friday, but not normally our PT day, but obviously we haven't been in school for 3 days, so do something for your heart today. Eat something healthy, exercise, something along those lines. Who's got something good planned for today?
I'm going to see a movie later.
Well, okay, let's start. Pashby, I think you said you had a movie that you're going to see later?
Watching a nice nap. Or not watching, I'm taking a nice nap.
Okay, very good. Only with you with the movie?
Yeah.
What you going to go see?
I gotta say a potty word.
For a movie?
Yeah, I'm seeing the new Jackass movie.
Oh, okay. I didn't know those guys were still alive.
I'm surprised they are.
I figure all the dumb stuff they do, they probably wouldn't have been around or able to do it anymore, but they still do it and it's still funny. Okay.
Still kicking.
Yeah. All right. Still that same initial group?
Yeah, other than the one guy who died.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Yeah, I think last weekend we went and saw the Spider-Man movie that recently came out.
That one looks pretty good.
That was pretty good.